Welcome to another video about how to heal adoption and narcissistic abuse. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lærke Theodora. I work as a spiritual and psychological counselor, and I live here in beautiful Denmark. I really feel like speaking about some very deep, soulful experiences that I had recently that have led me to a very deep understanding about how our soul's memory can give us a new level of healing that can give us eventually this movement and peace that we all really are seeking on this healing journey. So whether you are adopted, non-adopted, whether you were exposed to abuse in your childhood, or maybe you had or maybe you have been in an abusive relationship in your adult life, and you end up finding yourself in these holes where you just feel really, really stuck, and you don't know how to get on, how to move on from there, and you don't know who to reach out to, and you don't know what information or knowledge or wisdom it is that you really need in order to create any movement. So I hope by sharing my own story with you that it can give you some kind of movement, guidance, reassurance, or peace that you might be seeking at this point. So in the last couple of weeks, I went through some very challenging physical health issues. I was at the hospital multiple times, and I was faced with some of my own deepest fears. As an adopted person, I experienced that my deepest fear around not having a foundation, not having a solid foundation and a trustworthy foundation, that was being highlighted. It was being put under pressure, that I did not know how long I was going to be sick. I did not know what the long-term consequence of these physical health issues that I had. How long was I going to be in this state? How long would I be struggling with it? And the interesting thing that happened to me while I was in this process, struggling physically and mentally, was that I ended up pausing everything that I was doing. I paused my work, I paused my social life, I paused everything. And I just, because I was ordered to stay home in my bed when I was not at the hospital. I was really being told that you need to stay home in your bed to recover, to fully recover from this. And to be forced to stay at home in your bed when I am the way I am, where I am a Gemini, my zodiac sign, and I'm always everywhere, and I'm always constantly thinking about new ideas, creations. I'm always social. I'm always connecting with people online and in real life. And so that pause gave me some clarity that I did not know existed, and it actually took me to a new level in my own spiritual development. And I did not see that coming, even though on the other side I'm like, of course, when you pause you move faster. But we were taught that is the other way around, right? That we have to hustle, we have to work hard, we have to almost like suffer in order to achieve what it is that we want to achieve, in order to have the life that we want to have. But if that was the case, then everyone who's working 40 hours per week at a job they hate, really, really working their ass off, they would all be millionaires by now. They will all be living the life of their dreams now, but they're not. So that is an illusion, and that is a whole nother conversation that we could come back to another time. But it was relevant for me because I am very ambitious and I'm perfectionist, and it all stems from the fact that I was adopted. I experienced tremendous loss, separation, not feeling good enough. And when I paused, when I was told to pause, I went inside myself. I shifted my focus to go inward, and the pause gave me the silence that I needed in order to listen to myself, and in order to listen to what it is that my soul was trying to tell me, and what it is that the universe was trying to tell me, because I was not able to listen before. I was struggling before, but I was not ready to listen. Sometimes the universe actually create some kind of physical struggle that will force us to pause. And this is not to be mistaken that the universe is bad and that they are just gonna make us ill or stuff like that. It's not supposed to be understood that way. It's more because the universe knows that if they can make us to pause, then that might be the only way they can get our attention. And oftentimes they're not going to make us that ill that we can't recover from it. But there is so much deep healing and development in these moments and periods where we are struggling physically with something. What then happened was I was taken to a whole new level in my spirituality, where I was experiencing what we call a recall. I was taken back in time. My soul took me back in my soul's memory, took me back in time to see my birth mother and to see when she was carrying me inside her for 9 months. I was shown how she was in her apartment. I have never seen it in real life. I know where it is, but I have not even went there to just look at it from the outside. But I saw that she was in her apartment, and I could see what kind of clothes she was wearing, how she looked like. And she was sitting in a chair, like a comfortable living room chair, and she was like rubbing her tummy with, and she was really looking forward to meet me. And I know because of my records that I was taken against her will, and that it was not her wish to give me up for adoption. And I could also feel how she was feeling inside of her, and how she was feeling about herself, how she was feeling about life, and how she was feeling about giving birth to me and just in general being pregnant with me. I felt that within my own body, within my own soul. And this is possible because whenever a woman gets pregnant, there is a soul ready to enter that body when it's born. There are many souls that are ready. The soul has made a contract, a soul contract, before it is gonna enter. So they made a contract with this woman about being born by her. And I know that I made that contract as well. I don't doubt it for a second. And I also made the contract to be adopted by some adoptive parents that did not know how to treat me well, and they did not know how to take care of me in the way that they were supposed to. They only knew how to project their own pain and their own unresolved trauma onto me, which created so much suffering for me throughout my childhood. So whenever a soul is preparing itself to enter a body in a fetus that a woman is carrying, it has already arrived outside of the mom, and is already connecting with the woman through this spiritual wire that it has, that I've been talking about also in other videos. This wire is already created here because there was a soul contact that was made before the woman got pregnant. So that's why for the soul, it's just naturally going to descend and walk next to the mother and walk along with the mother and waiting for the 9 months to go and for this fetus to be born, where the soul will then finally enter completely. And that's something that I was shown this when I had this recall where I was taken back to see my mother being pregnant with me. I have had other recalls as well where I saw the moment I was born and how chaotic that was, because I was given up for adoption right away. I was separated from my mom right away at the hospital. But this was the first time that I actually saw something where I was not even in that body yet, if that makes sense. I have seen past lives as well, but I was in a body there as well. So this was the first time I saw something so special. And what came to me from this experience was such a deep peace that just washed over me. A deep peace, because now I knew what happened. Now I could see it, and I could have a memory that I could recall as many times as I want. For me, it was also a way of experiencing this deep, intuitive connection that every child has with the mother. And that connection is something that I have never experienced in my adoptive family. I never experienced it. But I also knew that it was not supposed to be like that. I have always known that. It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to feel like that, like I was feeling in my adoptive family. The lack of connection, the lack of intuitive connection with the parents. I always knew that something was missing. And I truly believe that we all know this. We can all feel that something is missing if we were adopted and grew up in an adoptive family. Something is missing. And this is what I experienced when I had this recall. I experienced what I was missing all this time. I experienced having this amazing, beautifully connection with my birth mother. And it's so wild to have this experience, because I remember when I was in kindergarten, I could see when my friends were being picked up by their parents, or when I went to have a play day with someone from my kindergarten, I saw that connection. I saw they had that connection with their parents. I could see it with my eyes, and I could see it with my clairvoyance, that they had an intuitive connection that I had never experienced with my adoptive parents, and I'd never experienced it with anyone in my life as far as I could remember. This gave me a new level of healing that I have never experienced before. It gave me that missing piece of feeling incomplete. Not that I, as a person, is incomplete. It's more about the natural process of having a mother, connecting with a mother, connecting with the feminine, and feeling that peace that you have this figure, this mother figure that gave birth to you, and that you are the result of her genes combined with your dad's genes. And it's such a profound existential experience to have this connection. I know that people who grew up with their biological parents, they don't necessarily have this experience of this strong, intuitive, loving connection. It's an unconditional love that we will experience, or that I experienced. And I know that we're not guaranteed to have this just because we grew up with our biological parents, because so many parents are so disconnected from themselves. They are so emotionally removed from themselves that they don't even know who they are, and they don't even know how to find out, and they're not even aware of this issue, and then they're not even aware of how much they're projecting this disruption and this fragmentation onto their children. So many parents, they have no idea how to connect with their children. It's not to say, it's just to say that it doesn't only happen because you're adopted. I know that it can also very much happen if you grew up with your biological parents. But what this led me to understand about how our soul is really choosing the mother that we want to be born through, and how these missing pieces can be so profoundly healing to us, and they can give us so much clarity and acceptance. And this has led me to feel so extremely called to do an online gathering for adoptees, where we can dive into this. We can go through all this amazing knowledge that our soul have, and where we can understand how traveling back in time can really give us a profound healing that we might not have experienced before. So I have decided to do this gathering on March 10, which is a Sunday. It's gonna be 1 p.m. New York time and 7 p.m. Scandinavian time. And I am just looking so much forward to this, and I can't wait to connect with those of you who feel called to participate in it. We're going to talk about all the soulful knowledge that there is, and then the second half of the gathering is going to be a guided meditation together, where we are really connecting with our soul and really connecting with this emotional memory that we have, that our soul holds for us. So I am really, really excited to do this, and I hope that by sharing my story, that it gave you some kind of reassurance that it's gonna be okay, and you're not gonna feel like this forever. And it is possible to heal these very, very early parts of us that were so traumatized and that were so hurt, and that can be so scary to heal because they're so vulnerable. when we surrender to the healing that our soul is offering to us, it's not painful and it's not traumatic. It's not going to re-traumatize us. It's actually a very, very calm and loving experience of letting go and releasing and allowing to come back to ourselves and allowing to reconnect with our heart. So I'm just gonna send you all my love and all my support, and you got this. You have not come this far to give up now. You can trust that 100%. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.